Good evening, everyone. This is Srikanth Rajan, and welcome back to the Market Pulse video where we discuss about what happened in the market last week and what could be expected next week. So, talking about last week, of course, it was a big fall that happened in the Indian market, all thanks to the Fitch rating, and all those details have been discussed already. If you have missed that, you should actually look back at the podcast that we had posted on Thursday morning. So, that's something that can explain you in detail about what had happened. But apart from that, if you look at the market, how it started on last Monday, the market was positive. In fact, the Chinese data came and China also announced a support system for its economic growth, which actually drove up the markets in the Asian markets, and the Asia markets, along with that, Indian market also went up. Things were all looking good when Wednesday, the market just starts falling. So that was nothing but the Fitch, downgrading the US economy, and that led to the fall. So reason was actually from the US, but the entire global markets fell on that day. So that started off the fall. Thursday, the market again fell. It was a Thursday expiry. But then Friday, the markets opened gap up and has again closed above 19,500. So that is a good thing, in fact, at this point of time. So looks like whatever we were discussed has happened. That is, market has already taken in the news, and that is over. Now probably markets have actually started moving further. So if you look at what happened after Indian markets closed on Friday, we could see the US markets also again going kind of flat and then finally closing slightly in the red. But then with all the kind of activities that's happened in the market, I would say the markets have actually kind of settled, because if you look at what happened on the US market on Friday night, it was majorly led by the disappointment in Apple results. So Apple iPhone sales have actually been coming down, and that was slightly negative. And let me tell you, Apple has the highest weightage in Nasdaq in the US market. Naturally, it's like Reliance in India. So when Apple fell, then naturally US markets had to fall. So it was not related to the Fitch rating, but this time it was related to Apple. But one interesting thing was that the bond market actually started reacting, and the bond markets have actually started going higher. In fact, in the US market, the bond yields started for 10-year bonds have actually started going up because of all the fear that has happened because of the Fitch rating. So with that, we can tell you, the bond yield going higher is not a great sign for stock market at this point of time. But then again, like we discussed on Thursday, this is a US specific issue and nothing wrong really with Indian market. But then there should be something to fuel the Indian market. Markets have actually rallied really well in India. So what can fuel the market further? So that is when on Friday we had SBI results coming up, and SBI came out with fantastic results, and that is something kind of a booster at this point of time. So that actually gave some power to Indian stock market on Friday, and it is kind of settled about 19,500. So these were few things that happened in the market. But if you look at some stock specific news, there are very few things that has to be looked at. The first one would be focus on coal India. So there has been a shortage of coal supply from global markets, which has actually led to a slightly higher demand, and we could see coal India started driving upwards. But at this point of time, I don't have my holding in coal India. Just changing my strategy of investment, I would say. Not that coal India is bad, but I'm kind of in a transition period, and that transition period doesn't allow me to hold any PSU banks. So I'm sorry, PSU stocks. So kind of reducing my PSU holding and looking for some new kind of investment strategy. Let me share that with you when I'm successful with that. So apart from that, if you see the markets in India, we could see Reliance had a rumor that Reliance may partner with Indian government to work on solar energy generation. But then it is still rumor. Nobody has ever confirmed it. But of course, that slightly gave power to Reliance in the starting of the week, which of course was lost by weekend thanks to the windfall prices, windfall tax on crude oil going up in India. So these are things that happened in the last week. In coming to stock specific, we could also look at IT sector kind of gaining some support at this point of time. Almost every IT stock tried to recover, and that is actually a great sign, because I do have some good investment in the IT sector, and especially the heavyweights in the IT sector has actually done well. Tech M and HCL specifically have done really well. Infosys is still stuck. TCS is the worst among the lot. So at this point of time, TCS is not looking great, and not that it's bad, but at least TCS has grown so big. It's always like that. So when companies have grown too big, then it is difficult to grow further. The growth rate is much lower compared to a smaller company. But that can be compensated with the amazing returns that we are having at Zensa Tech, which is actually rallying well. And of course, Pro Rajan will be really happy because he's having some Birla Soft, which is actually rallied up in spite of we exiting a couple of months back because of a different reason. So, well, that's how the stock market is. You can never catch all the rallies in the market, but then if you're able to catch even one of those rallies, you are lucky. So, in fact, we've caught many rallies this year. We've had, Tata Motors rally caught. We had a very good holding. ITC rally caught. Amazing holding there. We also did catch up with Zomato. So Zomato came up with results. In fact, Zomato's results were surprising. After so many years of loss, they actually made a profit for the first time. Of course, for a company of its size, finally making profit, which is 2 crores, is nothing to talk about. But then a company which has been in loss for so long, coming into profitability is of course a great thing. And that's exactly why Zomato rallied. And we had taken some stake there that also has kind of done really well. So overall, I would say the stock market is kind of set at this point of time, but then it does not have a direction. So it will all depend on how the market would behave on Monday, because this entire week, FIIs have been continuously selling. So that is not a great thing, though FII selling was in very small quantities, but until they start buying, markets are going to be on a pause. So it could be more of a sideways direction, but as of now, I don't really have a clarity on the numbers. But if you see the markets at this point of time, it looks like the markets are going to take a very good support at 19,000 level. So this week expiry, I'm not expecting the markets to go below 19,000, and on the higher side, I would continue to keep 20,000 level, because we never know when new things can come up. In fact, this is the last week of results coming up here, and the result seasons are like that. So once result season is over this week, next week onwards, market will not have much cues to be actually taking, and that is going to kind of take away direction of the market. So at least for now, we would be on looking at markets being kind of sideways at this point of time. So that is something that's that we could see in the last week. We could also see Eicher Motors coming out with amazing results that we are really happy about. Mahindra surprised the market with amazing results. So auto sector also, the amazing results have come out. In fact, all the auto sector stocks that we have invested in are doing really well at this point of time. So these are a few things that we had to discuss from the last week. Now coming to this week. So at this point of time, stock markets have fallen to a low of 19,300 from 19,980, 990 I think, right? That was the top almost. Yeah, almost 10 points or 2 points. It almost reached 20,000, I remember. From there, it has fallen to 19,300 low, and from there again it has risen up to 19,500. So right now the markets are actually between 19,500 and it's above 19,500, which is a good thing that it can kind of stay within 19,500 to 20,000. But then, like I told you, this week with the volatility in the market, I am expecting the market to be in the range, a wider range in fact, from 19,000 to 20,000. So that's something that we can actually reduce by as the market goes further. Apart from that, this week markets will be kind of sluggish, because we have the RBI monetary policy meeting happening, and the details will be coming out. In fact, there are some concerns on the inflation numbers in India, majorly because of the food prices going up thanks to the tomato prices, and now there is news that onion prices are also going up. So overall, the markets are not looking great. So this is not, at this point of time, I would say market will be slightly cautious, because the inflation numbers, especially the food sector inflation, would be in focus for this week. So let's see how that happens. And based on that, the market can take some changes. That's exactly why I would be kind of taking very safe trades in my personal trade, which I share with our MPI family Gold Club members. So this is just for internal purpose. Apart from that, if you look at this week, we don't have any other major thing except that the important few results coming up, and that should end the result season for this quarter. So that is something on the cards. So after that, Indian stock market would be kind of slightly directionless until, of course, Diwali. But personally, if you ask me, this is a fall. In fact, if you remember around when market touched that low of 19,300, we had discussed that that could be a good time to add fund into the market If you've done that, I'm sure you're sitting with some decent profit at this point of time, and that should actually continue is what I have a gut feeling on. Now, it does not mean that the market is not going to fall further, but then at least from this point, it looks like the fall is very limited. So I don't see a huge fall coming at this point of time, and it could actually go further up. But my view is again on a long-term basis. So any investment done now in next 1 to 2 years is going to definitely yield amazing results. Of course, what is going to happen tomorrow is something that nobody in the world can predict. So if you go by that, or if you go by somebody telling that, I would say just time to move away from those people, right? So that is something I had to share about the market for next week. Apart from that, if you have any questions, of course, do post it in the comment section or the chat box, and of course, we will be answering them. So best thing is put in the comment section so that I can see those comments and answer them in the next podcast. So that's it for now. Like I told you, summarizing it all, the markets are looking sideways with the volatility, and focus would be on the RBI monetary policy meeting and the outcome. Though I'm expecting RBI not to increase any rate hikes anymore, but if any rate hike is announced, that could be that could kind of bring the market falling further. But then I don't think that would happen. But just cautioning you so that you should be aware of it. That's it for now. This week, otherwise looks fine. Our investments are kind of decently well done. And I would say if you want to invest and make money in the stock market, simply stay invested in the right portfolio, and we can help you do that. And you can make amazing money in this market. So that's it for now. This is Srikanth Rajan signing off until we catch up tomorrow morning with more details on what is happening in the Asian markets and what could be the day looking like tomorrow. So that's it for now. This is Srikanth Rajan signing off. But before we leave, do remember to press the like button. Of course, do press the like button. That motivates us. And do subscribe to our channel so that, of course, you get latest updates from us. And the only place where we talk about investing at the right time with long-term view and making money from the market. Goodbye. Have a great week ahead. This is Srikanth Rajan saying goodbye.